My name's Lloyd Edgar. I made a film called What We Left Behind. It's the story of a student and the trouble and difficulty that she encounters whenever she leaves home for university overseas, and really how much she misses her boyfriend. I began writing What We Left Behind in the beginning of 2019, and really it came from the lesson that all young writers learn, and that's write what you know. And I realised that that didn't have to be exactly telling the story of your life, but in this instance, you know, I wanted to represent reality as I understood it. And in reality, my girlfriend left for university and the relationship came to an end. And when all young relationships come to an end in that way, especially your first relationship, it's a very emotional time. You know, this is a deeply personal film. It was entirely for me. I'm just glad that other people seem to relate to it. We shot What We Left Behind a long time ago. In relative terms, COVID times, of course, threw things off. It's been an unbelievable pleasure to see it on the big screen for the first and possibly last time. This is the end of its festival run, and to finish off in this way in its home city is an unbelievable opportunity to meet the other young filmmakers here and to network. It's been fantastic. As a young filmmaker, I feel like On the Pulse has given me the platform to move on to my next project with confidence. I would absolutely recommend Cinemagic to any young filmmaker. They've got so many courses on, so many workshops, so many masterclasses. The On the Pulse Film Festival, which has been an unbelievable experience for me. And I'm just so pleased to be part of it, and I can't wait to be part of it again in the future.
My name is Luke Galbraith. I am the director of the film 5. The film is about set in Ireland 1907, about a young man called Sean who desperately clings to the past, but as reality trips in, he starts to realise an unsettling truth that he cannot cope with. The opportunity to see my film was unbelievable. I loved every single bit from it, from start to finish. Meeting with all these different directors and then being able to just to talk to them, network to them, or even possibly collaborate in the future, and also see what the crack is as well and their future ideas. It was just unbelievable seeing again on the film on the screen. Was just a big wow factor, seeing it from just such a tiny wee monitor to then going onto the big screen. It's not just been an experience in terms of networking and having a chance like this, but also a learning experience to see anything I can tweak in the future and also understand what I need to do to progress forward to be an accomplished filmmaker.
My name's Thomas Malone. My film's God-Fearing Man. It's basically about a man who comes to a lawyer looking for some advice or to tell him his confession. Well, the experience of actually seeing my film on the big screen, especially at the QFT, is something that I'd never think I'd ever be able to do, and seeing like the actual written and directed by Thomas Malone on it, it's an amazing experience. Well, actually, because this is the first festival I've actually gotten into, seeing everyone around me actually watching the film with me and just having that experience of everyone in the same screen is just, again, an amazing experience. It's great to be back. Well, most Cinemagic festivals that I see, I always put my short films into because I always know it's always well organised. It's just a great event to go to. If you do have a short film, I'd definitely recommend submitting it to a Cinemagic Film Festival.
My name's Jasper Banerjee. I'm the director of the short film Kirill. And it's a film that explores the mindset and adversity faced by world champion powerlifter Kirill Sakharov as he progresses towards the British Open. My DP, actually, James Poston, actually went to school with Kirill, and so he was looking through his contacts and he ended up just seeing his name, and so he reached out to him, and from there he was happy to do it, and we did a series of video calls before flying over to London to film most of the footage that was in the documentary short that we have here. Currently we're working on the full-length version with all of the other footage that we've shot over here in NI and some of the competitions that he's been part of. It's been a really fantastic experience going through the production on this short. So seeing Kirill on the big screen for the first time was a really emotional experience in lots of ways, because it was something that the whole team has put so much time and energy and love into, and to see it up there alongside all these other fantastic projects really was really something, actually. And being back in the cinema as well is, of course, fantastic. Really looking forward to, carrying on with the production of the full-length one and seeing what comes of that. And now, for anyone who is trying to get their work out there, places like Cinemagic provide such a fantastic, enriching opportunity for people to kind of develop their networks and their connections, as well as just get more experience of being part of this kind of festival atmosphere, as well as, of course, practicing being on camera and talking, which is very, very difficult.
My name is Ciara Colley and my film is Alma, and it's a film about a strained relationship between a mother and her daughter and that relationship with their grandmother as well, and how they overcome these issues and bond again. My inspiration for this film was that a lot of the time death in our society can be seen in a quite sombre way, but I find that in Hispanic societies they tend to look more and reflect on the person's life as opposed to the negative of them now being death, and I just thought this was a bit more of a bittersweet way to look at things and a bit of a happier outlook and that sort of thing, and I just thought this was a bit more of an interesting story to tell. This film was made during COVID and it did make it quite difficult because of restrictions of not having too many people in a small space at one time, so it ended up having to be set builds for most of it, which did prove a bit more difficult to try and recreate places that look like actual locations, but I think in the end it worked out quite well. My experience seeing it on big screen today was really exciting. I'd seen it once before at my university. We shoot all of our films together, but this was a bit more of a different experience because this was people who'd chosen to come and see it themselves. And it was really exciting to see it, and I hadn't actually watched it since the last time in July, so it was quite refreshing almost to see it again. And yeah, it was really good being able to meet the other filmmakers and, you know, have a chat about their films and what their processes were as well, so yeah, it was really good. At the end of the session, when they announced that mine won, I was quite surprised. I wasn't really expecting it because there was like a very high standard of the rest of the films as well. But it was a lovely surprise and it was a nice end to the session today. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely good to get involved with Cinemagic because they have so many events and stuff going on, and you can meet other filmmakers as well and learn about all the different crafts and what you specifically want to do yourself as well. So yeah, it's definitely a good way to network and learn more about the industry as well.
My name's Jack McAllister and my film was Leave. And Leave's about a group of people in a video call, and it all starts to go wrong whenever a mysterious man joins the call and starts asking them these deeply personal questions that they have to answer or they will be kicked from the call. The production was created by the BFI, and we had multiple scripts, but due to COVID restrictions constantly changing, we went with Leave, just as it was the safe option, and we had to shoot it all on our phones and then stitch all of them together, all the footage together in post, just because we couldn't go out to get cameras because of the restrictions. And I think an influence for it probably would have been Unfriended, just because at the time it was the biggest Zoom movie that was kind of going around. I think it was absolutely phenomenal, you know, seeing it up there, you know, we thought everyone else's work, and it was a real kind of, a real sense of achievement and, you know, a sense of pride as well, that, you know, your work has made it onto this recognition, you know, you've been recognized for your hard work, for your team's hard work. I would definitely recommend Cinemagic. I mean, their work today, you know, bringing everyone's films together was really professional and really well done. And then on top of that, I've worked with Cinemagic in the past on different cross-community projects. And, you know, even more than that, they have countless, you know, opportunities for young people to get into film, or master classes if you need to know more about it. So really, I just have nothing but the highest regard to speak of about Cinemagic. They're absolutely phenomenal with what they do.
My name is Jack McHugh. I'm the co-director of Little Boy Litter, and it's a short animated film about a young boy in rural Ireland who's going around rooting through the rubbish that's dumped all over the countryside, and he's looking for stuff that he can exchange at the car boot sale with a dealer there for candy cigarettes.
My name is Conor McNally. I'm co-director of Little Boy Litter, a 2D animated film screening here at Cinemagic.
We met in college and we were studying animation in IADT Dunleary, and we were best of friends like from when we started college, and then we started kind of working together because we both are into the same kind of style of animation and the same kind of sense of humour.
We did this in residence in Birr, County Offaly for 6 months, and I suppose the main idea was prompted by just our desire to tell a 2D story, but that has a certain meaning. This one happened to be environmentally conscious.
Yeah, so as I was saying, we made our grad film together as well. We co-directed at Ruslan, and that was actually screened at Cinemagic in 2020. But of course, that was the COVID year, so it was all completely virtual. And it was great, like we didn't know any different, so we were delighted. But today is actually the first time that me and Conor got to see anything we've ever made on a big screen in a cinema at an in-person festival. So it's just been unbelievable.
So it was brilliant to actually finally see and hear people's reaction to something you made on screen. And as far as networking then goes, yeah, it's great to meet other filmmakers as well, of a similar age, and just get to know everyone, see what their background is. Yeah, it's great to see their films as well.
To know there's other people just like us out there looking to make stuff and tell stories. So it's been brilliant.
My name's William Keefe. I'm director of Small World, an experimental animated short film about a teacher who spends a day in a classroom where everything isn't what it seems. So originally it was supposed to be live action. I'd kind of storyboarded this short film. I like the visual imagery of a paper windmill and the idea of just smoke and kind of these aesthetics. And really, when COVID came in, I obviously couldn't film it, so I decided to do it animated. In terms of the color choices, I chose for it to be in black and white, incorporating yellow, which, as you know, is the most recognizable color, and that's why it was chosen. This is my first time actually seeing a short film, not just in person, but on a big screen. So it was great to see the audience, see the reactions, and also be among fellow filmmakers and just get their responses, and also just talk about the production of each other's films. Really good experience, loved it. This is not my first time going to a Cinemagic event. I've also been a jury member on their foreign language films screeners, and along with their documentary screeners. So I would definitely recommend the experience just to see films that you usually wouldn't be able to see in chain cinemas or sometimes art house cinemas. So yes, it's worth doing. Cinemagic is not just for filmmakers, and it's not just for people who want to be critics. If you just enjoy films, foreign language films, animation, documentary, I think it's definitely worth going because you get to broaden your view on different movies and filmmakers.
I'm Daniel Ritchie, and I'm the director of Wilderness. It's set in the Dark Ages, and it's about a religious pilgrim who's traveling across Ireland when they're robbed by a sarcastic leper and have to try to get their belongings back. The story was sort of inspired by the pandemic that we all went through, and then by the films I was watching in the pandemic as well. A lot of classic epics, or even there's one scene in Bride of Frankenstein involving the monster and an old blind man that really inspired me when I was coming up with the story. We then went into production. I think we got greenlit because the film is set entirely outside, minimized the COVID risk, and we spent 4 days shooting in a forest just outside of Carrick. It was a good shoot. It was fun working with the actors in that way. I think that the film looks really nice, and we were able to get very good production values in terms of costume and makeup. Today has been absolutely fantastic. Myself and my crew are so grateful to Cinemagic for showing our film here. I love the QFT, and our film has not, to my knowledge, been shown in a cinema yet, so to be here and see it put up on the big screen at last is just such a magical experience. It's lovely being here and meeting friends of mine here, filmmakers, who are also having their work shown, but also making other friends with the other filmmakers and artists who are here as well is just a brilliant experience, and I'm so grateful that we finally get to do this. I think whether you're a filmmaker or just a film viewer, Cinemagic has something to offer. I really appreciate how much this organization tries to support young people who have an interest in film, whether you want to learn more about analyzing it, or you want to meet other people who are interested in film, or you're a filmmaker who's wanting your work shown. Cinemagic has something for everyone then. If you love films and you're a young person, then you know where else would you go but Cinemagic.